What's up, Juventini? We've got a ton to discuss. Douglas Luiz, is he on the move? Is he the one facilitating the move for Zirkzee? Or are Juve's hopes of this move completely crushed? As of today, we'll go through all the latest on Kolo Muani, Rashford, and even a new name as a potential target at striker for Juve. All this talk about the attack, though. What's going on at the back line? They're dropping like flies, but we'll go through all 4 potential targets for Juventus in the back line as Danilo hands in his request for a leave. And then the injury rundown ahead of the Derby della Mola against Torino. I'm Berto, this is the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. It's January 7th. Let's rock with the news, and we kick things off with Douglas Luiz apparently being on the move. Well, Manchester City, Manchester United, Aston Villa, all interested in the Brazilian midfielder, all right? And today's the first day where some of the media outlets are saying that Juve would consider moving the player. Zirkzee, the interesting thing here is being pushed that they both share the exact same agent, Zirkzee and Luiz do, and that he's apparently trying to facilitate the move for both players to make this swap move, to make this exchange. Well, I'm going to stick with some of the more credible guys on this one that have been saying all along Juve has no interest in moving Douglas Luiz. And I'm going to tell you why. Because even in this exchange and whatnot, Juve would be set to see a capital loss. There is no way, given the business and how we've operated, especially this past summer and even now, that give us any inclination that Giuntoli would take a capital loss on any maneuver that we make. That also would be silly. So I ain't buying that Douglas Luiz is going anywhere in January, all right? And now another little tidbit that got put onto this one as well in regards to Zirkzee is that apparently he himself does not want to leave Manchester United, and that is circulating today from a few outlets, one of them being out of England. So Zirkzee hopes for Juventus might be crushed as of today. The other attackers, Kolo Muani now has interest from Tottenham, and Juve's stance remains the same, loan. They don't want anything that is permanent. When it comes to Marcus Rashford, yes, Juve is interested in the player. This is now confirmed by several media outlets. However, only for a loan and only until this season's end, seeing him return in the summer, all right? When it comes to a striker, we've got a new name, though, and that's Niklas Füllkrug. Apparently, Juve is interested. There are sources claiming Juve has no interest. There are sources claiming that the player's entourage himself has denied all the reports and that there's been any contact with Juventus. But Di Marzio still putting out there that Füllkrug is an option for Juventus. Let's wait and see. All this focus, all this talk, all this drama around the attack. What's going on at the back line? Well, Danilo has requested his leave from Juventus, and he wants his severance so that he can essentially be playing. This is of no fault to him, and I do not blame him whatsoever. We've literally pushed him out. We took him off the squad list, went to Saudi Arabia, played in those games. He now returns to training, but is training separate from the group while still being at Continassa. I do not blame him based on our actions, which I still find highly unnecessary, all right? But that is the latest. Now the backline, as far as our options, Henko, all signs point to a move in the summer. Feyenoord not going to say goodbye. Antonio Silva, today we hear he could be crossed off the list because Juve, apparently, according to multiple sources, will not be putting in a second offer for the player after their first one of a 5 million loan and 30 million purchase price has been rejected. Tomori, Juve apparently waiting for Milan's response on an offer of 20 million euros with 5 million euro bonuses, all right? Hey, are they going to say goodbye now? It seems Conceição is going to keep him around. That leaves us with Ronaldo Araujo, and today we get confirmations from Mirko Di Natale. He is a concrete option for Juventus, and Barca is definitely opening up to seeing him go on a loan. Now, The risk here, look at this injury record from Araujo. Over 90 games missed over several seasons here. This is a big risk, but this is what you get yourself into when you're banking on January. If the player hits form, he is a good defender. That is a good acquisition, but it carries this big risk because even if this guy coughs, his body might completely deteriorate. Let's see what happens, but apparently he is a concrete option. When we get to the injury rundown, a big boost. Conceição has passed physicals, all right, and he could be available even as early as the Derby de la Mola this weekend. When it comes to the Derby, Locatelli will be serving his suspension, and Cope Miners and Thuram are set to be the midfield duo with an attacking option added in there, all right? And this is really where Cope Miners should be playing anyways and should be geared more towards his strengths. Let's see if another indication comes here for Mota to try and change things. But Mota, he is definitely, in fact, in the hot seat. And when you look at the results, there's only 2 seasons that were actually worse as far as points totaled to this point. And that was Del Neri and that was Allegri in 2021, which is the actual season I am going to make comparisons to, not 3 years down the road. But regardless of comparisons, Mota's really got to start piling on the wins, everybody, and he's got to do so now. The Derby is a must win for Mota and Juventus, and I do believe we'll do it. But again, we've got a lot of time in the build-up, and I'll be back tomorrow covering it, and we'll be live on match day. But you know the drill for now. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC army, all right? And let me know, my favorite part, let me know what you think about all the news you just heard in the comments today, and let's mix it up. Until next time, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.